So it's been over 2 months now since Apple released the new iPhone lineup, and I've been using the iPhone 14 Pro Max for about a month now, and I have a few thoughts. Firstly, does anybody know what happens to the picture-in-picture mode on the iPhone? Because I never noticed it until after using it for about 3 weeks. Because whenever I'm watching a YouTube video and go to the home screen, the video goes into the dynamic island instead of showing up as a mini player on the home screen. And this has never been the case with the iPhone without the dynamic island. This has always been a controversial one, as there are many people who have a problem with the way Apple implemented theirs. So with Apple's always on display, you get the dimmer version of the lock screen and that's it. You still see everything down to the full colors. I am somewhat indifferent about the implementation, although I think Apple should have given us the option to choose between 2 different versions of the always on display. One version will have all the pixels on the lock screen blacked out with just the date and the widget pixels lit up, just like Android phones, and the other version will be just the way it is currently. But for now, people who wanted the always on display to come to the iPhone but did not like the way Apple implemented it just ended up disabling it, which I'm glad is an option. My only gripe with the always on display will be the fact that widgets are somewhat limited in terms of how many you can have on there and also their functionality. The dynamic island took the spotlight from the rest of the features the new iPhone lineups come with, and that's with great reason too. One of the things I find nice about the dynamic island is the phone call animation, being able to keep track of the call duration regardless of what you're doing on the phone. Another will be the animation when your AirPods connects to the phone, or how Maps takes advantage of it, or when you plug your phone into the charger, or when you use Apple Pay. You pretty much get the point. I really cannot wait to see how other app developers take advantage of the island as time goes by. On the flip side though, one of the things I don't like about the dynamic island is the fact that it takes a bit more vertical space than the notch did. But above all, the thing I hate the most about the damn island is the fact that it seems to have taken the place of the real picture-in-picture mode that we literally just got on the iPhone. Please let me know in the comments if there's something I'm missing or there's a setting I'm yet to enable, because I have picture-in-picture mode enabled in this phone. Prior to using the iPhone 12 Pro, I've always gotten the biggest version of every iPhone because I've always liked the bigger screen real estate. As someone who never upgrades his iPhone yearly, I started with the 6S Plus, then went to the XS Max, then went to the 12 Pro, not the Max version. Now, using the 6.5-inch XS Max for 2 years made me realize that it wasn't the easiest phone to use single-handedly. But I liked the size, so I made it work. When the iPhone 12 came out, I thought it was time to upgrade. Only this time, Apple had changed their design language. They went to the squared-up design reminiscent of the iPhone 4. But this time around, they also made the Max version a little bigger, from 6.5 to 6.7 inch. Now, these two design changes ultimately made me decide it was time to let go of the biggest iPhone in the lineup when getting the 12 Pro. I really couldn't continue dealing with the fatigue that came with the prolonged daily usage of the bigger size version of the iPhone Pro line. So I decided to go with the 6.1 inch Pro version, and this was a decision I would later come to love and hate at the same time. I love the ease of use with a single hand with little to no fatigue, but boy is the battery of this phone horrible. With the iPhone 12 Pro, I've never been able to make it through a single day of normal use. I always have to top it up around 6 PM, and this can be a bit annoying. I find that I'm basically tethered to the charger throughout the day, and whenever I want to go out, I have to either top up the battery before leaving home or in the car on my drive out. But with the bigger 14 Pro Max, the difference is like night and day. The low battery anxiety is totally out of the window. Once I unplug it from the charger in the morning, I'm unbothered about the battery status regardless of how much I'm on the phone or whether I'm going to be out for long. Now, I know the size difference also plays a role in the battery life of both phones, but for the most part, the iPhone 12 are notorious for their poor battery life. I would have to say it hasn't gotten any easier using the phone as someone with an average sized hand. Just forget about using this phone single-handedly if you're not someone like Big Shaq himself. Going with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, I knew I was going to be sacrificing that ease of use for an all-day battery life, and I'm somewhat happy with that decision. Clearly, to me, battery life ended up being a more important factor than being able to single-handedly operate the phone. I know Apple has a few workarounds with reachability features, but that kind of takes away from the frictionless daily use of the phone. I think a sweet spot would be 6.3 inches, where you have a somewhat great balance between the phone screen real estate, ease of use, and how much battery you can fit into it. My question here would be, what really separates a pro user from an average user? Would that come down solely to camera usage? So if you're using camera usage as a yardstick to determine whether a user is pro or not, that means a regular user will mostly use the camera within social media apps like Instagram and TikTok. That being said, it wouldn't really matter whether you're using the latest iPhone or one from 3 years ago. your results will be similar. Yeah, low light performance on the newer iPhones will be way better, but the average user will most likely be using their phone in a well-lit environment mostly. Overall, I have absolutely enjoyed my time with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, especially because my battery anxiety took a nosedive. This phone just keeps going on a single charge. One thing I noticed though is that the phone fell from my hand more times than I can count because of the size. An issue I would have also had with the iPhone 12 Pro Max variant. As much as I've enjoyed using the phone, I'll be returning it for just one reason and one reason only, and that's USB-C. I had high hopes that the iPhone 14 line would ship with USB-C across the line, but Apple decided to give us yet another year of fragmentation with Lightning. For someone doing any sort of pro work on their iPhone, the abysmal USB 2.0 transfer speed Lightning offers will not cut it when you're transferring large files. But there's good news though. Apple's Vice President of Worldwide Marketing in an interview confirmed that the iPhone 15 line will be ditching a Lightning port for USB-C. So, as someone who doesn't upgrade his iPhone yearly, I'll be waiting for the iPhone 15 to come USB-C. And if Apple really wants to blow people's minds away, they should make it a Thunderbolt port with pro-level transfer speeds. Alright, I think that concludes our 1-month review of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Let me know what you think about my opinions. I would like to hear from you. Please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps with the growth and discoverability of my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.